channel name is 80 for News Channel. The war between Israeli forces and Hamas fighters in Gaza has taken a devastating turn, with the recovery of the bodies of 3 Israeli hostages. The victims, Shani Laug, Amit Buskala, and Itzhak Galiranter, were killed by Hamas at the Nova Music Festival, and their bodies were later taken into Gaza. Shani Laug, a German Israeli, was initially believed to be alive, but her death was later confirmed in October when fragments of her skull were found. The other 2 victims, Amit Buskala and Itzhak Galiranter, were also killed by Hamas, and their bodies were recovered during the operation. The families of the victims have been devastated by the news, as they have been holding out hope that their loved ones would be found alive. The Israeli military has described the recovery of the bodies as a difficult and sensitive operation, with an Israeli hostage negotiator warning that a more aggressive approach could severely risk the lives of the hostages. Alongside the tragic news of the hostage recovery, the conflict in Gaza has intensified, with the Israeli military describing the clashes in the northern town of Jabalia as perhaps the fiercest in over 7 months of war. Witnesses have reported heavy fighting in and around the town, as Israeli forces and Hamas fighters engage in fierce battles. The Israeli military had previously cleared the northern Gaza Strip, but they have now re-entered the area to prevent Hamas fighters from regrouping. However, reports from the ground indicate that residential areas have been targeted, with buildings and civilians caught in the crossfire. The conflict in Gaza has been raging for over 7 months, with both sides struggling to find a path to peace. The Israeli government has been pushing for military pressure on Hamas, but an Israeli hostage negotiator has warned that this approach could further endanger the lives of the hostages. The families of the victims are understandably distraught, and the ongoing violence has taken a heavy toll on the people of Gaza. The international community has called for a ceasefire and a return to the negotiating table, but the path to a lasting peace remains elusive. The conflict in Gaza has been devastating, with both sides suffering significant losses. The Israeli military has reported the deaths of 3 of its citizens, while the Palestinian death toll in Gaza has been much higher, with thousands of civilians killed or injured. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has also been dire, with shortages of food, water, and medical supplies. Thousands of Gazans have been displaced from their homes, and the infrastructure in the region has been severely damaged. Despite the ongoing violence, both sides have expressed a desire for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The Israeli government has called for a return to the negotiating table, while Hamas has demanded an end to the blockade of Gaza and the release of Palestinian prisoners. However, the path to a lasting peace remains elusive, with both sides distrustful of the other and unwilling to make significant concessions. The international community has called for a ceasefire and a return to the negotiating table, but the future of the conflict remains uncertain. As the conflict in Gaza continues, the importance of diplomacy and humanitarian aid cannot be overstated. The international community must continue to pressure both sides to come to the negotiating table and work towards a peaceful resolution. At the same time, the people of Gaza are in desperate need of basic necessities, such as food, water, and medical supplies. Humanitarian organizations must be allowed to provide aid to the region, and the blockade of Gaza must be lifted to allow for the free flow of essential goods. Only through a combination of diplomacy and humanitarian aid can a lasting peace be achieved in the region. The loss of innocent lives, the destruction of homes and infrastructure, and the ongoing suffering of the people of Gaza must be addressed with a renewed commitment to finding a peaceful solution.